the Bible, perhaps in the Old Testament especially, that literally means not clean. Literally. It's not a moral statement. A priest was not allowed to touch blood or a dead body. It was unclean. So if you were a priest, you couldn't touch him. So there's not a morality going on about, oh, who's that stupid priest who didn't stop to help the guy. He literally, under the law he lived under, could not, without fear of losing his title. It was, no, he didn't do that. He couldn't, the guy looked dead, so he couldn't touch a bloody dead body. The Levite, which was just a little bit underneath the priest, because there was a huge hierarchical order going on in those days. The Levite was under the same basic rules. You can't touch an unclean body. So the fact that those two people walked by is not morality. It's just that was the law of their day. Oh, okay, that kind of frees up that part of the story. But then to realize that this dude, this Samaritan who came by to help him, the Jew laying there knew exactly who this guy was. He knew exactly that this was a Samaritan whom he was supposed to call enemy. Who he had called enemy for years. He knew because he can see by the way this guy is dressed. This guy's a Samaritan. Now mind you, in this hierarchical order, the Samaritans were way down here. So this Jew was better than the Samaritan in his tribe, in his culture. He was better than. But here he is laying, broken, bloody, almost dead. He needed the guy's help. Both sides of the story to me are equally interesting because he knew, God, you're my enemy, but I need you right now. I need your help. And so he let him help. So the Samaritan, not knowing who he was, saw, this is my fellow human being. He needs me right now. What a beautiful thing. The Jew said, oh my God, this is my enemy, but I need him right now. And the guy got what he needed. And at the end of the story, the Samaritan totally took care of this guy. Wow. The more I'm learning about the story, the more depth I understand about the story, the more I see how the hierarchical order was thrown out the window with the Samaritan, the more I understand that the priest and the Levite, yeah, it was no big deal that they walked on by. That's just what they would have done at the time. The lesson that Jesus was trying to teach in this, because his lessons all the time were about God's sovereignty. Because remember, the people of the time, this is our God. This is our God. This is our God. And our God's better than your God. They had that same problem.
Yeah.
They had that same problem. Our God's better than your God. We still live with it, don't we? Can you imagine them singing, our God's better than your God? They had to lighten the mood a little bit. But Jesus' teachings are all about love, bless, and do good. And it's not your God versus your God versus your God. It's about God's sovereignty. It's about the fact that there's God that is everywhere present. No spot where God is not. If God is everywhere present, Jesus' parable was trying to say this guy cannot be your enemy. God is right here too. You guys are not really enemies. So all of his parables is what I'm learning, that they're all under this category of God's sovereignty. God's in control here. God's got all this, and God covers all of y'all. Not just the Jews, not just the priests, not just the Samaritans. God covers everybody. And so those are the parables being taught. Whew, what a great one for right now. I thought, well, I can take that story and I can modernize it, but I'll just say one little thing. You can let your mind go where it goes. So you picture that same road out in the middle of nowhere. This guy laying here has got on blue clothing, and this guy coming has got on red clothing. Follow me? Yeah. If I'm the one laying there in blue clothing, and I see the guy coming in red clothing and I'm half dead, am I going to say, no, you can't help me. No, you can't help me. You're my enemy. Well, some of us might choose that, and that's okay. You see, if we're going to take this idea there's no spot where God is not, it means it's in the blue, the red, it's in the black, the brown, the white, the yellow, whatever color our skin is, it's in everything. We hear that, and intellectually we all get it. Intellectually go, yeah, there's only one. But the rubber really hits the road when it comes in our face. In all kinds of ways. stories for right now. There cannot be any enemies if we're all really the same, if we're all God's. How wonderful that the two people in the story of the Good Samaritan were able to recognize that in each other. I want us to recognize that. I want us to have that same inner understanding, not just in our head. Because that is the longest journey, isn't it? From I get it intellectually to, can I live this? Can I embody this? Can I remember this when I'm angry? It's a little harder. It's all right. We do our work. But we want to embody it. Ernest Holmes, our founder, loved the historical man, Jesus, and what he taught. Not the things that were made up about Jesus later, but the historical man and the things that he taught. And you will find that this science of mind does have a whole lot of the historical teachings of Jesus put in Ernest Holmes' own language. The idea of oneness runs in this book rampantly. Matter of fact, let me just go to the second one, because I told you I got two. The idea of oneness. So here's another quote from Ernest Holmes. He says, which one was it? Excuse me, this one's maybe too long. That one. Spirit is all life, truth, love, being, cause, and effect. It is the only power in the universe that knows itself. The Spirit could know nothing outside itself, because that would be God and something else. Spirit is all, the center and the circumference of everything that exists, both manifest and unmanifest. It has no enemies, no differences, no otherness, no apartness, no separation from itself. It is undivided, complete and perfect within itself, having no opposites and no opposition. It knows only its own ability, and since it is all, it cannot be hindered in any way, shape, or manner. It is impossible, though, for a finite mind, that's what we're living with right now, to comprehend such a complete life and power. But in moments of real inspiration, we realize, to a degree at least, that God is all there is. I'm going to repeat this one piece. It has no enemies, no differences, no otherness, no apartness, no separation from itself. It is undivided, complete, perfect within itself, having no opposites and no opposition. Breathe. Intellectually, you're not an enemy. In our being, that's where we need to practice it. And so we use our tools every single day. You know that even when war is happening, that there are many people who are willing to have a ceasefire for one day, if it's a holy day? That two opposing people, fighting each other, killing each other, shooting each other, can make an agreement that says, oh, this is your holy day, we'll put down our weapons today. If they can agree on it for one day, why can't we agree on it for 2 days? 3 days? Forever! You know? It's like, wow. That is like really telling. You can do it for one, you can respect that person's holy day today, but not tomorrow. Okay, so where do we need to put down our weapons? Where do we need to increase our sense of, I can honor you today, I can honor you tomorrow. I don't necessarily have to like you or agree with you. I don't exactly have to be like you in the human form. But can I honor you? Can I put down my weapons? It's a tall, tall order for us to understand there's no spot where God is not. That means where we are, woohoo, that's what we like. And it is where the person that we can't stand also exists. When I teach foundational class, one of the questions I get most often is, but what about Hitler? I get that question in almost every single class. Well, what about Hitler? I do not like anything that the man did. But there either is oneness or there isn't. So at the spiritual level, we're one with him, whether we like it or not. Now we're going to replace it with common days, and I'm not going to say anything. Just feel it in your own life. But the truth is, no matter who we can name, what about that person? What about that person? What about that person?